is Savardis. He's on the move, and they're going to look for Savardis in the corner. Touchdown!
Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the Props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Andrews will be in shotgun. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He'll throw it down the left sideline. He's going to wind up a receiver. He's got the touchdown.
Mowbray moving in. Sends one on goal, and he scores!
And it is a power play goal.
Back to pass, middle of the field. The catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score.
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon to the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores!
Smith delivers, and that's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from Great Kills Little League in Staten Island, New York, the PDF Sports Network welcomes you into coverage of the semifinal round of the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship. Today's matchup features Massapequa Coast Little League taking on Harrison Little League. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, joined on the call today by both Nick Bavona and Aaron Cohen. And Nick, you and I got a chance to see these teams play over the last couple of days. Aaron was joined by Nick Durst and Dave Pizzuto earlier in the week. But Nick, let's start with what we saw last night. Massapequa Coast suffered a tough loss to South Shore. However, with both teams having clinched a spot in the semifinal already, we're certain they did not throw their best arms out there in that game and have saved one of those arms for the matchup today against Harrison, as Charlie Piricelli will take the mound. Do you hold that game last night in any regard, or can you just toss that one out?
I think you just toss that one out. If you look at what South Shore also did in terms of their lineup and how they pitched in that game as well. Dean Scarangello pitched a great game for that South Shore team. But if you look at what Massapequa Coast did, you're absolutely right, Joe. They went into that approach with a pretty much reliever mentality of, starter by committee and going by the relievers as the game went on. And like we said, they were both already in the semifinals. It was all about seeding last night and who would take on either Harrison or Auburn. We mentioned about maybe do you play a strategy of who you want to potentially more face in these semifinals. But for Massapequa Coast, I think that was one where, you know what, we take the loss. We'll come back here today against Harrison and see if we can get bounced back on track and make it to the championship game for the second straight season.
Win or lose last night, the scenario was the same. They needed 2 wins to secure another state championship. And Aaron, Harrison Little League's path now into the semifinal round. Back on Monday, it was a big win. Nick and I covered that game, but you got a chance to see Harrison on Tuesday in their loss against Penfield. Then in their third and final game of pool play, Harrison locked up a spot with a big win as they held on to defeat Auburn. What were some of your takeaways from watching this Harrison team in the game that you saw them play on Tuesday against Penfield?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. It was a bit of inconsistency is what I saw. They have some big bats and powerful players, but they don't always string those hits together, and that makes it really difficult to generate consistent offense. And then on the other side of the ball, we saw some pitching struggles. Starting pitcher just didn't quite get that far through the game, and then they were struggling, cycling around arms a little bit, struggling to find the strike zone with their pitches, and that's a really difficult thing to get around if you can't get your pitchers getting in the strike zone. We've seen batters throughout this tournament do a really good job of showing patience at the plate and allowing the pitchers to miss if they're not getting those balls where they need to go.
Well, I think that the point you just made highlights 2 things that we saw from Harrison in the game yesterday. Nick Durst and I covering that game at South Shore Little League, but that was a pitcher's duel. Noah Martinez, Cohen Ashby, 2 fantastic outings in that game yesterday as those 2 teams vied for a spot in the semifinal. In all likelihood, Auburn was going to be safe unless they allowed a lot of runs. Harrison was win and in, and they got a tremendous outing from their starter, Noah Martinez, in that game, as they would go on to defeat Auburn in a very close game, a low-scoring game as well. So that certainly helped both sides in terms of that run ratio, and ultimately that calculation was not needed, really, as it didn't get that close. Unfortunately for Penfield, their season came to an end with that Harrison win yesterday. But, Nick, you've also gotten a chance to see this Harrison team, and I think one of the most impressive things we've seen from their players so far was their performance in the Home Run Derby. They were hitting shots a long way out of the Great Kills Little League complex. But as Aaron mentioned, they really haven't put that together since their first game in which they scored 10 runs. Their offense has been held mostly at bay since. They're looking for a breakout performance here today.
And look what happened in that game yesterday with Auburn. It was scoreless going into that bottom of the fifth inning. Lachlan Waits broke the tied score with that RBI hit to give Harrison that 1-0 victory. So Harrison, yes, did win that game 1-0, but the offensive struggles have certainly been there for them since that first game that we saw. They've only scored 2 runs since that 10-run performance that we saw on Monday night. They've also had some really stellar pitching along the way, and that's helped them in this tournament so far. You mentioned Noah Martinez and what he did yesterday for this team. A lot of strikeouts, leading to some big time outs against an Auburn lineup that has been very impressive as well in this tournament. And then CJ Atanasio, I mean, look at what he did on Monday as well. He had a no-hitter going into the fifth inning, was taken out after he gave up his first hit, but they were able to get an early 10-0 victory with the mercy rule effect in that fifth. So if Harrison wants to get back to that old success that they had on Monday night, they need to do what they were doing best on that Monday night, and that was take a lot of pitches, work the count, get some key timely hits and runners in scoring position, and get some runs on the board. But you're absolutely right. They would love to have Martinez and Malhotra, who were the 2 finalists for the Home Run Derby, play a big factor into this game.
Atanasio was great on Monday night, Nick. He pitched a very good game, as you mentioned, took a no-hitter deep into that one. We had a perfect game taken deep into the late game last night, and though that game didn't have any implications on seeding, it's worth a watch. Go back and take a look at the insanity that ensued.
I've lost sleep over it.
I sure did as well. But, Aaron, let's shift our attention back over to Massapequa Coast. You and I were there for Game 1 that they played on Monday against North Shore. They scored 10 runs in that game. Not a bad performance at the plate against EGC either. They scored 5 runs in that game. Last night, obviously, the game didn't mean much to them, but they did not score. Is there any cause for concern there? And what did you see on Monday that they did so well?
On Monday, it was just incredible how they consistently got the bat to the ball. I mean, you talked about how they scored 10 runs, which is a tally that should win you basically every baseball game. But honestly speaking, that was an unfavorable result based on how many hits they got. 19 hits, if I remember correctly, in that game is an incredible tally. You should be scoring more than 10. And I don't think it's that much of a cause for concern, Joe. I would still favor Massapequa in this matchup just because, you know, at this age, you're due to see at least a little bit of inconsistency, but when you have a team that can put up double-digit hits so easily, I would expect them to bounce back from that loss and show us what their offense is capable of once again.
So starting lineups are about to be introduced out on the field. Aaron, why don't we shift our attention to our third camera as we are going to have an up-close view of the introductions ahead of this game. But while starters are being introduced, I will get you the starting lineups for both teams, beginning first with the visiting team in this game, Massapequa Coast. Leading off and playing second base is number 99, Ryan Love. Batting second is the pitcher, number 9, Charlie Piricelli. Batting third is the catcher, number 70, Joey LaBella. In the cleanup spot is extra hitter, number 23, Jackson Walsh. Batting fifth is the first baseman, number 6, Chase Vitro. Batting sixth is the left fielder, number 8, Daniel Moreno. Batting seventh is extra hitter, number 42, Keen Rimler. Batting eighth is center fielder, number 4, Chase Santoro. Batting ninth is right fielder, number 15, Ryan Scarry. Batting 10th is the shortstop, number 1, Matthew Francesi. And batting 11th is the third baseman, number 2, Michael Santopietro. On the other side, for the home team, Harrison Little League, leading off is the first baseman, number 12, Josh Lewis. Batting second is the catcher, number 24, Noah Martinez. Batting third is the third baseman, number 99, A.J. Malhotra. In the cleanup spot is the pitcher, number 42, C.J. Atanasio. Batting fifth is the center fielder, number 29, Sean Welgos. Batting sixth is the shortstop, number 34, Jax Rothschild. Batting seventh is the right fielder, number 31, Brody Kozak. Batting eighth is the left fielder, number 7, Lachlan Waits. He was the hero of yesterday's game. And batting ninth is the second baseman, number 8, Luke Gould. Batting 10th is extra hitter, number 20, Anthony Sacco. Batting 11th is extra hitter, number 27, Luca Balbi. And batting 12th, extra hitter, number 1, Jeffrey O'Connor. So with that, we will step aside and just take a quick break. When we come back following the playing of the national anthem, first pitch between Massapequa Coast and Harrison. And we are back here on the PDF Sports Network as we are just about set to get underway in the first of two New York State Little League Baseball Championship semifinal matchups. Our first between Harrison Little League and Massapequa Coast Little League. Both of these teams 2-1 in pool play. Harrison coming in off a win, Massapequa Coast coming in off a loss, but Massapequa Coast has the advantage of also coming in as defending champs.
Yeah, and think about the pressure situation that Harrison was just in yesterday, Joe, that we already mentioned. That 1-0 win, season on the line, game was scoreless going into the fifth inning, and they got that big-time hit. We did see C.J. Atanasio, who gets the start today for Harrison, did come in relief to get the final out for Harrison in that win over Auburn. So he'll get the start again today, as we already mentioned. Got that start on Monday, had that no-hitter going into the fifth. But no matter what, it's a pressure situation for not only Harrison, but also for Massapequa Coast. They want to repeat as champions from last season, and they want to make it an impact, especially after what happened yesterday against South Shore.
And we last saw Massapequa Coast starter Charlie Piricelli on Monday as well. C.J. Atanasio, as we mentioned before, started the game on Monday night for Harrison. But, Aaron, with the way these two teams have been limited offensively in their most recent game, we could be in for a pitcher's duel. At least the numbers suggest that might be the case.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what Atanasio has to offer. We've already talked about how strong he's been on the mound, and it's going to be a big challenge for Massapequa, of all pitchers, to try and get your offense back on track. To face Atanasio on such an important game, you expect him to rise to the occasion. So we'll have to see what the defending champs are made of, and they're going to have no easy walk back to the title. They're going to have to earn this to the highest degree.
No question about it, Aaron, and Atanasio continues to deal. His warm-up tosses due up for Massapequa Coast in the road first inning. Ryan Love, Charlie Piricelli, and Joey Labella. And despite being held scoreless last night, we know that this Massapequa Coast team is very capable offensively. So they are looking for a bounce-back effort. As for Harrison, they are looking for a breakout effort offensively. And since that first game that they played on Monday, I think they've been held to just 2 runs. I think their second game was 6-1, and the game yesterday was a victory 1-0. So Harrison's looking for a breakout effort at the plate as well.
Ryan Love will lead it off for Massapequa, a rare lefty-lefty matchup to start our evening. Or I should say morning.
Well, Nick, this is basically an extension of the evening last night.
That's true.
It was a very long night. First pitch from Atanasio, and it is taken for ball 1. Love showing bunt, perhaps taking all the way there.
Well, I'm curious, Joe, with the lefty-lefty, maybe he tries to bunt it down the third base line.
And that's something we spoke about when we saw Atanasio pitch on Monday, and I'm glad you brought it up, Nick. As during that game, we expected perhaps a bit more small ball.
A lot of those Plattsburgh line hitters were lefties, so saw a lot of lefty in that game.
Yeah, if there was ever a time where we thought there might be some bunting, it would have been in that game.
And quickly now, he's behind the count 3-0.
And that's a 4-pitch walk.
And if you notice, guys, that on that 3-0 pitch, he didn't go into his traditional windup. He went with a quick pitch, and he did not get that strike. So we've seen it a lot this week, guys, also. That leadoff walk to start off an inning has been very brutal for some of these teams. So early trouble here for Harrison.
Obviously, you never look to open up an outing with a leadoff walk, and we've seen how much damage can be done with free passes, coming on the base on balls, hit batters, wild pitches. And now you have a speedy base runner on with nobody out for a very dangerous hitter looking to help his own cause. And Puricelli takes up and in for ball one.
I believe Puricelli had a home run in the Derby that we called on Wednesday as well. So if he were able to get some contact on here, he could try something deep, but he is showing bunt.
And he pulls it back. I think he's just waiting for a strike now. Was that a late called strike, Nick?
It was.
I think it was.
It was. I thought that was another ball.
Yeah, the way that Puricelli reacted, I thought so too. That misses low.
He offered it that one.
I thought he did. Was it called a strike?
He called it a ball. Held up.
So Puricelli gets the benefit of that call.
That's what Massapequa does very best, Joe and Aaron. They just take pitches and they don't chase at anything.
And we mentioned that the other night against EGC.
It's that plate discipline. You really take your team to the next level. You force the other pitcher to work.
Puricelli back into the box. Count even at 2. And he chases up the ladder for strike 3 swinging.
I'll take some credit for that one, as I just mentioned that they don't chase at anything, and unfortunately for Puricelli, he chases at that high fastball for the first out of the inning.
And to that point, Nick, I think they've done a really good job specifically laying off the low breaking ball. That was not a breaking ball, as Atanasio challenged him upstairs. That pitch is in for a strike. So, Nick, you ready?
It is a very late strike call, so we got to
ready for that.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep that one out.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 2.
You can hear the pop of the glove with that one. Nice fastball right there from Atanasio.
And just like that, it seems he's back on track. And he makes quick work of Joey LaBella. 3-pitch strikeout, and there are 2 away.
And how many times this week have we also seen a pitcher gaining confidence after getting a strikeout to get the first out of the inning? Ever since that leadoff walk, back-to-back Ks now for Atanasio, and he's now 1 out away from going into the bottom of the first, still scoreless.
That will bring up the cleanup hitter, Jackson Walsh. That pitch misses low. Don't think Walsh was able to hold up, and he did not.
Not even at 1.
There's another swing and miss. That looked like a low fastball. And we've seen Atanasio elevate that pitch thus far.
Looks like they're having a conversation about pitch location, trying to make sure they're on the same page.
And Martinez behind the plate. We know what he did yesterday on the mound. So he knows what it will take to get some of these hitters out. We'll see what they do here on 1 and 2.
The 1-2 pitch. Hit on the ground, left side. And they go the short way to second for the final out of the inning. So CJ Atanasio works around a leadoff walk. He strands a base runner, and we head to the home first with no score.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships, as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
And we are back from Great Kills Little League with no score in the bottom half of the first inning. Harrison getting their first turn at bat against Massapequa Coast starter Charlie Piricelli. Due up for Harrison in the home first will be Lewis, Martinez, and Malhotra. Three very dangerous hitters in yesterday's game. That trio combined to go 2 for 6 in a game where Harrison finished with 5 base hits. As we mentioned during the pregame, the hero yesterday was Lachlan Waits. He delivered an RBI double in the 5th inning that put Harrison in front by a run, and they were able to hold on in the top half of the 6th.
And we've already mentioned that they want to get that offensive numbers up since that Monday game that we talked about earlier. Just 2 runs in their last 2 games. For their sake, they're thankful that they got a win in one of those 2 games, but they want to get those numbers up here today against Charlie Piricelli.
Last time we saw Piricelli, if I'm not mistaken, was on Monday.
Yep.
And North Shore, if I recall, did score against him. But like I said, haven't been great about marking on my scorecard where the pitching changes are made. That changes today.
If I remember correctly, I think he was still in the game when it was 2-1 North Shore in the 3rd inning.
I think you're right. First batter he faces is Josh Lewis. Lewis gets the start at first base for Harrison.
It's up in the count early, 2-0.
It's much like the top half of the inning started. That's a called strike. So, Nick, the verbal call precedes the signal.
That time I heard it.
If you listen closely, you can hear it. You won't hear it over the broadcast. And it looks like Piricelli may have overthrown that one. Count 3-1 now. That pitch is in for a called strike 2. Talk about a frame job, Nick.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot this week, too.
That's chopped on the ground to third. Santo Pietro throws just in time.
That was a strong throw from Santo Pietro right there. But we've also seen pitch this week.
That will bring up Noah Martinez, and as we know, he has a big bat. Had a hit in the first inning of yesterday's game. And if you recall, Nick, though I called the game with Nick Durst, I know you were tuned in, came up batting left against the righty his first time up.
Yep.
Second at bat came up hitting right-handed.
Yeah, we had no idea he could bat right-handed until we saw him in the Derby bat right-handed.
That's right.
And he made an impact in that Derby with the way he was hitting home runs in that one. Towering shots over the shed in center field. And when he batted lefty once again, hit a home run into practically the pool that is right behind us here at Great Kills as well.
Incredible power. And from both sides, you don't really see that at this age.
Count is currently 0-2.
And Martinez takes a called strike 3. 2 gone.
And guys, how big of it is for Piricelli to get a guy like Martinez, who we know has the capability of that power, to get him on 3 straight strikes for the second out of the inning.
And the way things have gone for Harrison, Nick, and Aaron, I think, as Aaron mentioned during the pregame, they may rely a bit upon extra base hits in the long ball. Since that first game, the offense has not been able to string together hits, but it was a big timely hit in the game yesterday that propelled them to the semifinal. This is A.J. Malhotra. He's behind 0-1. Make it 0-2.
And you know they want to get him going as well. He won the Derby on Wednesday, but has not had much of an impact in this tournament, so you know he wants to get a big timely hit right here.
Comes the 0-2. That skips to the backstop. Puricelli comes set and delivers. Chopped foul. And that is a called strike 3 on the inside corner. Malhotra goes down looking, and that's the second strikeout of the inning for Charlie Puricelli. We head to the second. No score.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
And we are back from great kills for the top half of inning number 2. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Massapequa Coast in a scoreless game. And as I mentioned during the pregame, we might have a pitcher's duel in store, and thus far, this has lived up to the billing.
Well, let's not jinx it just yet, Joe. We're only through 1 inning so far in the game, but
4 strikeouts?
That is a good start for both stars, that is to say the least. But yeah, we know what these lineups are also capable of too. Obviously, Harrison is still trying to get those numbers up run-wise, but we know that they have the capability of putting runs up on the board.
You said during the pregame that you could probably toss that Massapequa Coast game from last night, and if you do that, these two teams have gotten very good pitching. Harrison, extraordinary pitching to this point outside of that one game in game number 2 on Tuesday. That was against Penfield. But that was their worst game, allowing 6 runs. They allowed nothing in their other 2 games.
Now we'll call for a strike.
Chase Vitro at the plate for Massapequa Coast. He chops one over the glove of Malhotra and into left field for a base hit.
Yeah, that one took a tough bounce in between the 2 infielders at short and third for Harrison right there. And it's a leadoff single from Massapequa Coast to start the second inning.
Well, Aaron, last time you saw Vitro in the game on Monday, it was a huge game for him. And
that's right.
Showing bunt.
And that's bunted foul.
Well, they were clamoring a lot for it last night, Joe, in the second game that we called. A lot of calling for bunts. Well, so far, we've seen a couple of attempts here early on.
Count 0-1 on Daniel Moreno, the left fielder for Massapequa Coast. Shows bunt again, pulls it back, and takes a strike.
Well, he certainly won't be showing the bunt this time around.
0-2 the count. And did he go?
Waiting for a signal.
He
Held
did
up.
Love how he kept the bat there in that half-swung position so they could really verify how far he went.
Gotta sell your case sometimes.
It's not just about framing pitches. As Atanasio delivers, and that's hit on one hop to short. Quick toss to second for one, but no chance at first. And they do erase the lead runner for out number 1.
Like that play from Rothschild there, guys, where he could have tried to move on in and try to catch it on a fly, but waited for it to bounce in front of him and make the throw to second. He saw the runner at first was not going to be going the full way, just in case it would be a potential double play ball.
And Keen Rimler hits one well out to right. But settling underneath it to make the catch is Kozak. Holding it first is Moreno, and there are 2 gone.
Well, that's the first ball we've seen hit into the outfield, so no hit, but maybe a sign of what's to come for the Massapequa Bats.
we know Rimler is capable of putting one over the fence. We've seen it twice already, but it will be left to Chase Santoro in this spot. Santoro, the number 8 hitter and starting center fielder. He's ahead 1-0.
So Massapequa get their first hit of the inning. Let's see if they can get something into the gap here, potentially bring home that run.
There's a swing and a miss. Curious to see how aggressive these teams will be on the bases as well. Hits potentially coming at a premium in this one may necessitate some aggressiveness on the bases.
Well, I don't want to sound like a homer, Joe, but we saw South Shore do a lot of that last couple of games we've seen them.
Well, I said it last night. Their base running has differentiated them in that regard, as that didn't get far enough for Moreno to try it.
Very, very short backstop at this field. It's hard to get a good bounce for a runner to second.
That's foul back off the netting.
They called it an out, Joe. The home plate umpire just called it out.
He pointed at the netting.
Okay.
It looked like it.
The signal looked like he called it out.
If you're watching that at home, you probably thought the umpire called out on the play.
You weren't the only one, because I was fooled by it too.
And that pitch is taken just high.
So you got a full count now here, 3-2.
Big pitch here in terms of keeping pitch count down and keeping a runner out of scoring position. Payoff pitch on its way, and that misses upstairs for ball 4. Second walk of the game issued by Atanasio. And Moreno will move up to second.
Quick mound visit now here for Harrison. Aaron, you probably have the best vantage point of pitch count. How many does Atanasio have right now?
From what I can see here, he's at 29.
Okay. So early on, 29 pitches here in the second inning.
So Ryan Scarry will be the batter. Scarry comes to the plate with 2 on, 2 outs in a scoreless ball game. Looking to drive in that all-important first run, as that's taken at the knees for a strike.
Situational hitting here. 2 outs. Can you bring a runner home? Get them off the mark.
That swung on and missed for strike 2. Atanasio looking for one more big pitch in order to strand a pair. The 0-2 is up and in.
Waste pitch right there for Atanasio now. Counts, excuse me, that 1-2.
And the batter just got a piece.
We saw that last night, too, in the game between EGC and North Shore. A ball that didn't look like it was going to be contacted in the dirt. Was somehow contacted, and the next pitch led to a game-tying hit.
Those somewhat defensive cuts to keep at-bats alive often pay dividends, but not here, as that's a letter-high strike 3 called, and Massapequa Coast strands a pair in the road second. Harrison comes to bat in a scoreless game when we come back.
This tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering Island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
And we're back from great kills for the bottom half of the second inning. No score between Massapequa Coast and Harrison in this 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship semifinal.
Really, visit the mound between catcher and pitcher for this first pitch of the inning.
We spoke about it last night, Nick. The weather was fantastic. Not sure that could be topped. It's been topped by a considerable margin today.
I'm glad you brought that up, because how could that play a factor into this game today with the wind?
Well, the wind is blowing at, right now, pretty good pace from left to right field. It's been steady. Steady breeze. Unrelenting as that swung on and missed by C.J. Atanasio.
He's taking big cuts, looking for a big hit into the outfield to get his team off to a good start.
And that is ripped, just foul.
That almost did it.
The photographer had to take evasive action. You can definitely see the impact of the wind on our pitcher-batter camera. Swaying just a bit. But you might even be able to hear it through our headsets. If you hit the ball to right field today, it could go a long way. And Atanasio chased the breaking ball, tossed to first in time to get him, as the putout is complete for out number one.
Looked like the Bella originally was trying to make the tag. Would just throw it on to first base to make it easier out. Another strikeout for Pericelli to start this game.
That will bring up Sean Welgos. Welgos had a hit in yesterday's game. That one got away.
You know, Welgos, though, certainly capable of a fast runner at one of the faster times on Wednesday in the skills competition.
Welgos actually got that fifth inning started yesterday with a base hit as he takes a strike. But he was erased on a ground ball, forced out at second on a fielder's choice. The man behind him in the order, Jax Rothschild, ultimately came home to score the go-ahead run. Count 2-1. And that's chopped on the ground toward the middle and through into center field for a base hit. Welgos takes the turn but stops at first. And Harrison has a one-out base runner.
That one being a dangerous base runner, and Welgos as he gets that one-out single.
Much needed first hit for Harrison. They were blank until that moment. Maybe that'll signal a turn of pace for Harrison.
First pitch on its way, and that's taken low and outside.
You know, they're going to try to keep him at first base. Don't want him to have an opportunity to potentially steal right here.
If he's going to take second, Massapequa Coast needs to make sure he earns it. Do not allow it on a wild pitch or passed ball.
And you have to think also with him being at first base, that could maybe be so far affecting Pericelli in this at bat, already behind the count 2-0.
And the 2-0 is taken on the low inside corner.
Count now 2-1.
LaBella has done a good job keeping things in front of him behind the plate, as that is chopped a mile high on the infield. Going to be a tough play. Santo Pietro's throw, not in time, and heads up base running by Welgos. Sees him take third.
Well, with Santo Pietro, the one fielding the ground ball, no one was covering third base on that play. So I mentioned Welgos' speed. Immediately started running to third after he slid into second. And now Harrison, guys, has first and third here up with one out still in the inning.
Dangerous situation. Harrison finally getting their offense going. And because of that heads up base running by Welgos, all they need is a fly ball into the outfield to get the first run on the board.
And we've seen in this tournament already that outfield assists have come up big for Massapequa Coast. None bigger than the out at second base in the game against EGC, albeit a play surrounded by controversy. Either way, it took a great throw just to make it close. At the plate now, Brody Kozak.
And if you're looking, guys, also, they're having some of the infielders move in just a little bit, Try to prevent that runner from third scoring.
And the runner will take second with no throw. So moving up is Rothschild. He's credited with a stolen base.
That does leave first base open now in this situation.
Kozak with a swing and miss there. The open base works to your advantage if you need it. But with the bottom half of the lineup due up here for Harrison, I think Puricelli is short to attack. It's now 1-2. And that's hit on the infield. And caught on the move just beyond the infield. The runner comes home, and he is out at the plate.
Harrison is not happy with that call. A 9-2 double play turn to end the inning.
Oh, boy, Nick.
Did he tag him on the top of his helmet, though, in time is the question.
We are going to have a fantastic look at it from the camera out in left field. Aaron, get the shot of the plate. Instead, that's the look we want. I'm sure Pat had a great look. He sure did. We'll slow it down as well. We're going to stay right here. I thought he was safe, Nick.
Let's say. I think he was safe, too.
That lead foot, his right foot was above the ground. He did not have it down touching the plate. We're going to run it back one more time. Look at that lead foot. It bounces up. I'm not sure if it touches there. It's extremely close.
I still thought he was safe, but I don't have a great look. So what I'm going to do is keep us right here. I'm going to shift over behind Aaron, who is doubling as our engineer, and get one more look at it on the bigger screen.
It could not be closer. That foot comes up right as it approaches the plate.
And the only way he's out is if he missed touching the plate. That's the only way he's out.
Yeah, because he beat the throw, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, as we said on Tuesday, the man with the best angle made the call, but judging by that replay, I thought he was safe. I thought his foot was down.
Showing the whole play now.
I couldn't believe he tried it. That ball barely left the infield.
I think he was banking on the right fielder being off balance and not thinking about the runner, because he did make a very nice catch, but he was aware. And as it stands with the calls, outstanding defensive effort, preventing the first run of the game. Wow.
It just goes to show you why these are the four final teams in this tournament. As now we head to the top of the third, still scoreless.
Well, remember what I said about the wind earlier? That ball was carried at least a few extra feet, if not more, and toward the line by the wind, as that ball was hit a mile high directly into the wind, blowing from left to right.
And give credit to Ryan Scarry, the right fielder. He had to run in a long way to make that catch in shallow right field, make the catch, and then had to make a strong throw to the plate. And the throw was a little bit offline, but was at the catcher. And it was just good enough at time, it seems, to get that tag at home plate to get the inning over.
Very quickly, Matthew Francesi strikes out to open up the third inning for out number one. But I said it before, Nick, the outfield assist coming up big for Massapequa Coast on Tuesday. And sure enough, Ryan Scarry delivers. And if I'm not mistaken, it was Ryan Love who delivered the throw to second base in the game on Tuesday. So the Ryans coming up big in the outfield as that sails to the backstop.
These games are tight. They're going to come down to specific moments where you either make the outstanding play or you don't. And Massapequa has come up in the first one.
And that is lined toward the middle. Cut off in the hole, but no play at first. Rothschild with a good effort there. Made it closer than I thought it would be, but on with an infield single is Michael Santopietro.
And with that now, it brings us back to the top of the lineup. We've already seen Love lay down a potential bunt opportunity. There is one out in the inning, so I would be surprised if he does maybe lay it down here. But you are happy if you're Massapequa to get that last hitter in your lineup, get a base hit, now bring it back to the top of the lineup.
Top of the order brings Ryan Love to the plate. Just mentioned his name. Came up with the big outfield assist in the game on Tuesday, if memory serves me right. think he just got a piece of that one. Count 0-1. Love walked his first time up, was erased on a ground ball to end the inning. That's down low. So according to the live chat, the perspective they have is that Welgos' foot hit a bat that was left in the baseline as Martinez pounces and holds Santo Pietro at first. So foot hit the bat, bounced up and over the plate.
I wonder if a replay picked that up, because I would like to see that maybe potentially one more time if that was the case.
Michael thinks that the tag beat him and that he was simply tagged out on the back of the helmet. The bigger your screen and the more times you can slow it down, the better. Our monitor, which displays the video output, is very small. We don't have a great look on a big screen. And on the half swing, Love goes down on strikes. He tried to hold up, but once again, Nick, tough to resist that high fastball.
Yeah, he thought he held up on that play, but just was not able to do so. And there's now 2 away in the inning. And we'll take a look at it, not just yet at the moment, Air. We'll take a look at it at the end of the inning.
Slow it down to .25. It makes it much easier to freeze frame it when the playback speed's at a minimum.
So once this inning's over, we'll take a look one more time to see if a bat played a factor and where the tag, if it definitely was on the top of the helmet, that's for sure.
Yeah. In real time, my instinct was if his foot didn't move over the plate, he was definitely safe. That was my instinct in real time. And more often than not, the first instinct is right, and replay and photo evidence has confirmed that throughout the week. But we'll see if that holds true here, as that's on the inside corner for a called strike.
And we talked about that one on Tuesday where we had that one look on our replay. We then saw a different look from a pitcher that was taken. So obviously you need every look you can possibly get for these calls.
And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Curicelli down on strikes for the second time. As for Atanasio, he strikes out the side in the third. We'll stay right here and get one more look.
All right, let's look at this one more time. Super, super slow. And see if we can pick up. And you know, Joe, the bat actually might be there. I think I see it.
Well, the bat was definitely there.
Yeah.
Did it impact the play?
I think it did.
It absolutely
It did. Great call.
And
So
it looks like
the bat forced the foot over the plate.
It did. You can see the bat.
Yep.
That's when the tag was applied. Doesn't
So-
look like the foot's touching there.
I can't really see the plate from where I'm seated. I mean, you know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right, and I think the bat is the reason the tag beat him.
Yeah,
I think the
looks
bat
that
is
way.
the reason the tag beat him. He's out.
Incredible.
Wow.
Another
that's a
unusual
great eye.
sequence.
Great eye at home.
Thank you, viewers.
And I think I can say with pretty good confidence that if the bat is not there, he beats it.
Yeah.
That's how close it was.
Absolutely.
Because you got to remember,
Wow.
Scary had a hesitation before throwing that ball. He didn't know if the runner was actually going to go.
Yeah.
Well, great call by the umpire. He had the perfect view, and he made the exact correct call.
That is what he's here for. A job well done. And we said it, the man with the best angle made the call. That's why we are out in center field, and he's behind the plate. So we'll stay right here as we're about set to begin the bottom half of the third inning. Harrison will send 8, 9, and 10 to the plate.
Well, even though they weren't able to get a run that last inning, guys, I think if you're Harrison, you got to be very confident that you are starting to see some good pitches thrown from Curicelli, and you're starting to make contact with them here early in this game. Now it's only going to come down to, can you get that run in to take the lead early?
Left-handed batter Lachlan waits at the plate for Harrison. He takes down and away for ball 1.
So we already mentioned the hero of yesterday's game against Auburn.
That's a base hit that he's going to remember for a long time. Not often you get to deliver a game-winning RBI base hit in the state championship.
He would certainly love to top it here today with the semifinal here and a potential championship berth on the line.
Waits takes a strike to even the count at 1. There's a swing and a miss for strike 2.
Count now even at 2-2. Pericelli has worked himself back into this count.
Chasing up the ladder was Waits for strike 3.
I've gotten a little piece of it, but did not matter, as you mentioned. He chased that high fastball. And Pericelli bounces back from the 2-0 count to get the strikeout.
4th strikeout for Pericelli. He has 4. And on the other side, his counterpart, CJ Atanasio, has 7.
Wow.
He's recorded 9 outs.
No.
As that's a strike on Luke Gould. Gould was 0 for 2 in yesterday's game. Count even at 1. That's off the inside corner. That sails high. Pericelli yet to issue a walk in this game. And he's done so here.
One out base runner for Harrison. Can they work that over? Still haven't seen a run yet this game.
Anthony Sacco, the batter. Sacco reached on an error in yesterday's game. And he was out on a play at the plate. 8-2. He was retired trying to score. Looked to come around on a Luca Balbi base hit, but was cut down, representing the go-ahead run. Count 0-1.
Correction, count should be 1-1.
Make it 1-1. Now 2-1. 2-1. Forced Sacco off the plate, and it's now 3-1.
Pericelli now in danger of walking back-to-back runners. First and second on for Harrison.
3-1. Catches the inside corner. Payoff pitch. Sails to the backstop, and we saw it once or twice earlier, but once again it looks like Pericelli might be overthrowing just a bit.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what his pitch count is right now with first, second, just 1 out in this inning.
46.
46.
Yeah. You saw after the count went 3-1, he took a step off the mound like he's doing now, taking a deep breath, trying to reset. Only worked for 1 pitch last at bat. We'll see what he can muster here.
Think about also that this is the bottom half of the Harrison lineup, and they've now gotten 2 walks in the inning. Now Luca Balbi, as you mentioned, Joe, almost had himself an RBI hit yesterday. Can maybe deliver one right here, put Harrison on the board.
Big spot for him. 2 on, both reached via the walk, just 1 out. And he is hit by the pitch.
That will load the bases. We saw the game last night end in a hit by a pitch.
That will bring up Jeffrey O'Connor in a huge spot. And it looks like
we're going to have a pitching change potentially, or we're going to have
a potential pitching change coming here. Everything on the line for Massapequa Coast.
he didn't take the ball. I think he's going to stay in.
Yeah. Well, think about the spot as well. I mean, you're the number 12 hitter in the order if you're Harrison. So O'Connor, if he's able to get on, not only brings in a run or potentially two for Harrison, but then it brings it back to the top of the lineup for them as well. On the other side of things from Massapequa, I would think that their infield's probably going to move in, and any ground ball is going to go to home plate so that they ensure that the game will at least remain scoreless.
Well, if you're Massapequa Coast in this spot, knowing how well Harrison has pitched in this tournament, this is the out you have to get, whether a run comes in or not. If you're forced to concede a run, obviously that's not ideal.
And they're showing bunt.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't think so either.
With a force at the plate, I don't think so. I think you have to make Puricelli throw a strike, so I don't think O'Connor will be swinging.
Yeah, he'll just be taking it until he gets a strike. And there it is.
Count even at 1.
Did it hit him?
Hit him. Back-to-back walks followed by back-to-back hit batters.
And that's a killer, Joe. We've talked about how impactful free passes are on the base pass this week. And 2 walks, 2 hit by pitches. Harrison has now recorded a hit in the inning, and yet they have a run on the board. They lead 1-0. And now you get back to the top of your lineup as well for Harrison, too.
Tough moment for Puricelli. This is really going to test what he's made of. Hopefully he can figure it out and find the zone.
The last 2 runs that have scored during our coverage have come via the hit by pitch.
Incredible.
And now Josh Lewis gets a chance with the bases loaded and 1 out. And he is nearly hit.
And funny enough, Joe, both batters that were hit by the pitch were the last batter in the order as well.
Remarkable. That's in for a strike.
Puricelli ahead in the count for once this inning.
And that is lined the other way foul on what was a half swing.
Those have been dangerous, too. We've seen a couple of half swings that have led to some base hits.
One of them came on a wicked breaking ball by Raf Corbacero last night.
Yep.
I'm not sure how Dylan Waltz put that in play with his
Still
swing.
I think everything from that game last night is still a mystery.
What a game, as that's taken for a ball.
Count now even at 2.
Well, big pitch here. You'd hate to run it full. And that is in for a called strike 3.
And he needed that one, guys. A huge punch out for Puricelli. And considering who the next 3 batters are as well for Harrison, and it's up to Martinez to try to potentially, early in this game, get something into the gap and bring home 3 runs for this Harrison team.
Strikeouts don't get much bigger than that last one. And I always mention that how you perform under duress in high-pressure situations as a pitcher says a lot. And Puricelli can make a statement right here if he can pick up this 3rd out. And Martinez takes outside.
Looks like a breaking ball on that one that he tried to fool him with.
Comes the 1-0. And that misses away.
And I think Martinez is in the spot where you're waiting for that first strike, and then you'll be ready to swing. I think that's been the approach this entire inning for Harrison.
And he swings 2-0.
Maybe not.
Comes up empty for strike 1.
Maybe not.
I think Noah Martinez is really anxious to make an impact here. He really wants a big hit.
In fairness, he got a fastball right down the middle.
That was a pitch to hit. And that is ball 3.
Massapequa thought that one was hitting the corner, but it did not. Puricelli now is in danger of walking in the 2nd run.
They have not liked the strike zone during this at-bat, but it has been consistent. And that is low for ball 4.
And Martinez with a very emphatic bat flip.
Yeah, you know, looking out to the mound and flipping the bat like that is going to draw some ire from the other side, but that is a huge spot for Martinez, and you can't fault him for being amped up following what will officially go down as an RBI on the walk And it's now 2-0 Harrison.
He'll be pitch run at first base as well. Josh Lewis will be the one that pitch runs for him.
Well, a huge opportunity here for A.J. Malhotra. 2 runs already home. And we are approaching the midway point in this game. And that is chopped foul.
Anytime I see a ground ball or a fly ball hit down the third base line, I always cringe. Those cars are too close.
Count 0-1. That's fouled away.
Quickly behind. This is a huge moment for Harrison as well. A difference between a 2-run lead and potentially a 4-run lead with any sort of hit. Really put Massapequa in a difficult spot.
And the 0-2 sails up high.
That's a great point as well. I mean, huge difference in getting it back from a 2-run deficit to a 4-run or even more deficit with one big swing.
Here comes the 1-2. And time was called late.
Puricelli annoyed there.
Pitch on its way. That skips in.
Count now even at 2-2.
2-2 coming. And that's it on the ground. Left side. Throw across the diamond, not in time. And it is now 3-0 Harrison.
I think that was a tough play no matter what for Francesi at short. Because if you look at it, he was deep in the hole off the backhand. I don't think he realistically had a chance at any base to make that out. Even at second base, Lewis was pretty much in there by the time he made his throw. So great base running right there from Harrison gets them now the 3rd run of this game in a 3-0 lead.
A very tough position for Francesi. He fielded that ball deep in the hole. C.J. Atanasio will come to the plate here. And the umpires will confer about something.
Well, it's been slow and steady offense, station to station here for Harrison, but they're keeping the machine going, so if it's working, it's working.
Aaron, what is Puricelli's pitch count now at since we last spoke about it?
Puricelli's pitch count is now at 66.
Yeah, he has gotten up there since the last time we've talked about it. That's what happens when you give up a couple walks, a couple hit by pitches as well, infield single as well. And think about the spot now for C.J. Atanasio. The opposing starting pitcher could really open this game wide with an extra base hit.
Well, it's always tough to figure out exactly what's happening. We had that situation with the delay on Tuesday. We're all the way out in the outfield, so we aren't told what's going on until after the game in situations like that, and we aren't sure what the conference was about. But Atanasio bats, bases loaded, ducks out of the way of that pitch. And Puricelli just hasn't had his command in this inning. They haven't hit him hard, but he's given up just one base hit. Hit 2 batters and walked 3.
Almost had another batter right there.
And that's it on the ground, foul.
We got to get walkie-talkies to the booth or mic'd up umps or something or other.
We're used to calling games alongside site administrators. We are calling games out beyond the center field fence in our own private area. So we don't have the access to that information. As that misses low.
One strike away, Puricelli. Can you get it across?
He's been in that spot more than once, and that's hit to short. Francesi. And his throw is wide! And that will score 2! Over to third goes Malhotra. On at first is Atanasio. And it is a 2-run error on the throw to make it a 5-0 ball game.
Yeah, that one this time, I think the out could have been made the short way. It would have been close, but long throw for Francesi at short, goes over the head of his first baseman and allows 2 more Harrison runs. They now have a 5-0 lead in this game, and it will lead to a pitching change for Massapequa Coast.
And one of the things that we've seen Massapequa Coast do well this week is their play defensively. They've come up big, obviously, with a couple of outfield assists. They've been relatively clean on the infield for much of this tournament, but that play right there going to sting in a big way as it brings home 2 additional runs and forces Charlie Piricelli out of the game. And with this pitching change, we will step aside and take a quick break. Big inning for Harrison. They have scored 5 times, and they have a chance for more with runners on the corners and 2 outs.
The Staten Island Ferry Hawks are proud to be a sponsor of this year's New York State Little League Championship because one championship organization deserves another. Come check out another amazing season with us at Staten Island University Hospital Community Ballpark with great ticket and group deals, theme nights, and fireworks displays. Good luck to all of our teams this week from your friends at the Staten Island Ferry Hawks. We'll see you at the game.
And we are back from Great Kills with a look at that last play at second base very quickly. Though
we might have to hold it
until
until
may have to wait one pitch. So with Walsh stepping off, let's get a look, Aaron. I think we have time. Clear away the break board and fire up that replay quickly. We thought he had the out at second if he chose to go that way. And was that the case, Nick?
He did, but I'll make my point in just a moment, as that's going to be another hit for Harrison and bring home another run.
Sean Welgos delivers his second hit of the game, and we can capture that one as well and get a look at that last swing. But judging by the replay, they had the out, Nick?
So judging by it, they had the out. The issue for Francesi was Ryan Love, the second baseman, wasn't fully running to second base on the play also. So they could have had the out at second, but they didn't have a good chance to get there. Love would have had to make a quick run to second base, and I think by the time he would have gone there, I think the runner would have been safe. So I think that was the only realistic play now, looking back at it, for Francesi, and unfortunately it leads to the error and 2 more runs on that sequence happening. And then another RBI hit for Welgos makes it now 6-0.
And that's it on the ground. Another chance at short, and this time they get the play at second for the final out of the inning. But not before Harrison strikes for 6 runs. It took them just a couple of base hits, but the 2 hit batters and 3 walks all come in to score as Harrison goes in front 6-0. We head to the 4th.
New York State Little League Championship is proud to have Dave & Buster's as a proud sponsor. Where are you going after the game? There's only one place with delicious food, ice-cold drinks, games on the big screen, and fun for the whole family. Food and drink specials are available all week with the latest video games and the biggest arcade on the island. Redeem tokens for great prizes and come back often because Dave & Buster's is the place to be for game day and all the days in between. Turn on the fun with Dave & Buster's on Staten Island.
And we are back from Great Kills Little League, where Harrison puts up a crooked number in the 3rd. They now lead Massapequa Coast 6-0. And if you're a fan of Massapequa Coast, that's a really tough inning to take, as much of the damage was self-inflicted with the hit batters, the walks, and then the error at short.
Yeah, I think if you're Massapequa now, you look at this 4th inning, you have 9 outs to play with. I think it now more, imperative that they've got to get some runs in this inning if they want to get back into this game. A 6th spot is very tough to come back from when you have 9 outs or 6 outs or even 3 outs to play with. So for Massapequa, they need some runs in this inning if they want to get back into this one.
Well, I'll say, if any team's going to make that 6-run deficit back up in even just 1 inning, Massapequa is the team to do so, but we just haven't seen it from them yet today. They need something to shift their momentum and put them back in the right place.
And think about also, they have not scored, Joe, since that Keen Rimler home run on Tuesday. They were shut out last night, and they are so far shut out through 3 innings here today.
Just 2 hits. That's taken low.
How many did they have last night? 4?
Not sure.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
They put together a small rally in the final inning, had a couple in scoring position.
Conversation down the third base line. Home plate umpire, one of the coaches for Massapequa, and we're back to the 1-0 count.
There's a swing and a miss. Joey Labella at the plate, struck out his first time up. Behind him, Walsh and Vitro. There's a swing and a miss. And these hitters have had a really tough time with that high fastball from Atanasio. And Labella goes down and gets that one as he drops it into shallow right center for a base hit.
Yeah, he had to lunge down to get that one, and a good piece of hitting. He also got into a very perfect spot in that outfield for Harrison into right center field. And that's exactly what Massapequa's going to need to get back into this game, guys. A leadoff single gets them going here in the fourth inning.
That's a good two-strike swing to go down after that pitch and dunk it into shallow right center as Jackson Walsh takes ball one.
Walsh is the one that replaced Pericelli on the mound in that previous half inning.
Jackson Walsh 0 for 1. Hit to a fielder's choice his last time. And he hits one softly on the infield. Malhotra diving stop. Throws to second in time as Labella had to hold and make sure that ball got down on the infield.
Yeah, that's a tough play for Labella right there because you obviously want to go on contact, but you don't want to get doubled off. And Malhotra did make the dive, trying to catch it on the fly. Did scoop it up, though, fortunately for him, and was able to make the throw to second base for the first out of the inning.
That will bring Chase Vitro to bat. He singled to lead off the second. And that's taken high. Count even at 1.
Yep.
That pitch misses low.
Time again being called.
And the Massapequa dugout has been chirping. They've now been warned by the home plate umpire. Count 2-1. There's a good breaking ball. That one fooled Vitro, and count is even at 2.
Atanasio been so incredibly strong. Started off the day with a walk, but since then.
That misses outside.
And we talked about the beauty of his pitch, his command as well. He goes with that fastball, it's tough to hit, and then he counteracts it with an off-speed pitch.
That's a walk. Good at bat from Vitro. 2 on now for Massapequa Coast, 1 out.
It's going to lead to a mound visit here for Harrison. But Massapequa now, they can get an extra base hit. They can bring home 2 runs and make this a 4-run game.
This inning was already big coming in, and now with 2 runners on, this spot becomes huge, as it feels like you absolutely have to have a couple of runs here. So Daniel Moreno will be the batter. Moreno reached on a fielder's choice his first time.
And if he can get on, with Keem Rimbler already having 2 home runs in tournament play, that would be a bat you want to get up with the runners in scoring position.
And another good breaking ball. Gets a swing and miss from Moreno for strike 1. And that's it on the ground to third. Malhotra throws it away! And Walsh took the turn, but will stop at third. And boy, there was almost a collision halfway to third base. Malhotra and Walsh came together, and I thought maybe
they would give him the tag out for
they
the
might
out.
give him the tag, or perhaps
I think at the moment before he contacted him, he threw the ball.
What a break for Massapequa Coast, and they are in business.
Now Rimbler comes out with the bases loaded.
And he drives one foul as he almost took out his first base coach.
Well, if they can get some runs, I think it would be not a sacrifice, but they'll take some runs at this point.
Very easily, Nick. There could be nobody out in this inning.
Right.
Instead, Rimler bats with the bases loaded and drives one to right field, where it is caught by Kozak. Heading home is Walsh, and the throw is wide of the plate. Both runners forced to hold, and Massapequa Coast is on the board, and Nick, Rimler just missed that.
Yeah, that was a great play also in right field. Give credit to Brody Kozak making that run towards right. That was on a line drive. Kozak does not make that play. 2 runs easily score, maybe even 3 runs score for Massapequa in that spot. They do get 1 and make it 6-1.
That ball was well struck by Rimler. That will bring up Chase Santoro, and he looks at a strike. Santoro, without an official at bat, walked his first time up. And that's hit on the infield where the diving catch is made by Malhotra.
Malhotra very busy in the inning.
I was about to say, very busy at the hot corner was Malhotra, but he makes the catch, sliding to the turf, and that will do it for Massapequa Coast in the 4th. They do get 1 run back and now trail by 5. Our score, 6-1.
NYS Industrial is your all-in-one supply and tool store for commercial, industrial, and domestic industries. A leader in HVAC supply stores, K&S provides various building and maintenance supplies for office buildings, industrial plants, schools, homes, and more. We also specialize in getting our customers hard-to-find items. If you're looking for HVAC supply stores that also offer anything else you might need, look no further than K&S Industrial. If they make it, we'll get it. K&S Industrial.
And we are back for the bottom half of the 4th inning, where Harrison leads Massapequa Coast by 5. Our score 6-1. And what really leaps out of the box score is the hit tally, just 4-3. Meanwhile, a 5-run differential.
Yeah, it came down to walks, hit by pitches, and also a key timely error as well for Harrison from Massapequa Coast. So you're looking down the deficit, and obviously we mentioned it, the 1 hit difference in the hit column, but Harrison has taken advantage of those walks and hit by pitches, and they have this 5-run lead. They were thankful enough, though, in the previous half inning to only have given up 1 run, because it seemed as if Massapequa Coast was just a couple of inches away from making this a 3-run game potentially.
And Aaron, we've said it time and time again, the walks, the hit batters, and self-inflicted wounds in the field can be killer, and that's been so uncharacteristic of Massapequa Coast these last 2 seasons. Unfortunately, it's come back to bite them today.
We're playing a lot of baseball here, Joe. I mean, this is each team's 4th game, so when you're playing that much ball, you can get some fatigue, you can get some errors creeping in, maybe not getting as good sleep as you maybe would have hoped, not sleeping in your home. So many factors to think about as to why we're seeing less than perfect baseball.
Well, you have experience in this scenario, Aaron.
Yeah.
You would know.
That's
We'll
right.
talk more about that later. Aaron, a Little League World Series vet.
That's one way
That's
of putting
fouled
it.
away. That should have been his introduction. At the plate, Brody Kozak. And, Nick, you said it during that last half inning. Kozak, with a great jump on that Rimler line drive, made a nice play in right field.
Yeah, it does not make that play. This easily could be 6-3 heading into this bottom of the 4th.
Kozak gets out of the way of that pitch.
Because one misstep could let that ball go all the way to the backstop and the wall in right field.
And that's chopped to third. Fair ball. Throw from Puricelli right on target. And Kozak is retired for out number 1.
Well, it pays to be a pitcher when you're on the mound and then moving to third base. Puricelli had to play that one on a backhand and make a long throw to first base. And it was a strong one for the first out.
That brings up Lachlan Waits. Waits struck out to open up the 3rd. You don't often see a quick strikeout to start an inning that then becomes a 6 spot. That's fouled back. Following that strikeout, it was walk, back-to-back hit batters, another strikeout as that sails to the backstop. A walk with the bases loaded, a single, The throwing error to score 2, and then an RBI single by Welgos before a ground ball ended the inning. That's fouled back again.
It's a good thing you had extra paper after last night's game. You almost ran out after the game we experienced.
Harrison almost batted around in the last inning. Came one batter shy. They sent 11 to the plate. It's fouled off again.
It's good defensive batting. Just keep getting contact on those pitches close to the zone.
And that is in for a called strike 3. Waits thought it was down, but a lengthy battle ends with a strikeout. And there are 2 gone.
I'll bring up Gould now with 2 away in the inning.
Gould walked and scored in the 3rd. Bats here with the bases empty in the 4th as he fouls the first pitch back. Comes the 0-1. That's fouled off again. Looking ahead to the 5th, it will be the bottom of the order for Massapequa Coast. That's hit well to center, but Santoro has been right on time all week long as he makes the catch on the move for the final out of the inning. 1-2-3 inning for Jackson Walsh on the mound. His team comes to bat, trailing by 5 after this.
Awards and Trophy Center is proud to sponsor this week's New York State Little League Championship. Located at 1600 Highland Boulevard on Staten Island, we pride ourselves in not only building trophies, but building relationships as we service our community and treat you like family. Your event and its achievements deserve the best. That's why Country Awards and Trophy Center is ready to work with all of our clients to make your event a memorable one, with awards, trophies, and gifts that make a lasting impression. Come see why we love our customers and they love us. Visit us today.
Top of the 5th inning from Great Kills Little League, where Harrison leads Massapequa Coast 6-1. 6 outs to play with in this one for the visitors, and as I mentioned during the previous half inning, it will be 9, 10, and 11 due up for Massapequa Coast.
Well, guys, they were able to get back in that, at least on the run column, that last inning, getting 1.
That's a softly hit grounder to 3rd. Another chance for Malhotra, and he converts for out number 1.
And if not for Malhotra in that inning, as well as the play in right field from Kozak, it could be a completely different ball game here in the 5th. So the Harrison defense really came into a factor that previous inning.
I think the big difference is they were able to work, for the most part, around the error, which I don't put entirely on Malhotra, though he probably could have tagged the runner for the out. He was certainly impacted by Walsh crossing paths with him. This is Matthew Francesi, and he takes a strike.
Aaron saw an interference call happen at one point this week as well, so that was R1 again.
Yeah, I thought there was a good chance they'd call it there, but where's the base runner really supposed to go? The ball was hit right in the baseline, so do you have to stop?
Didn't deviate from his path. He just ran straight.
That's popped up. Atanasio gives it a look, but it's off the top of the Massapequa dugout.
Just to note, that was his 70th pitch that he's thrown in this game. So if he can get a quick inning here, guys, he'll have a great opportunity to finish the 6th inning.
Atanasio has piled up the strikeouts in this one. Had 7 pretty early, as that's fouled away again. And there's another.
And did you see the break on that one? He went with a couple of fastballs on the at-bat, counteracted with an off-speed pitch that broke right into the middle. That was just a disgusting pitch right there for the second out.
Strikeout number 8 in the game. And he has had himself a great week.
Almost single-handedly powering his team towards the final. Incredible performance.
And you mentioned it. Think about what he's done this week. The no-hitter going into the 5th. He got the save in yesterday's game against Auburn. And now right back out here today. He's thrown a shutout so far through 4 2/3. Or I should say, has given up 1 run, that not being earned.
This is Michael Santopietro. Singled his first time up. And he takes low.
Don't know if we can get an ERA calculation, but
I'm not good with that. I'm not good with that. I'll need a calculator for that one, and I don't think that's going to help me.
Joe, put your score sheets together this evening.
It's a lot of work. We need a producer for that.
Yeah. Joe and I were crunching numbers last season, trying to figure out tiebreaker scenarios.
I was scrambling my brain trying to figure that out last year when there were some very realistic tiebreakers that presented themselves on the final day.
Thankfully, we didn't have to deal with that as much this season.
That's called strike. Count full 3-2. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Atanasio has fanned 9, and he is through 5 with his team leading by 5 runs.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
Home 5th inning from Great Kills. Harrison looking for some insurance. And they will send the bottom of their lineup to the plate. 10, 11, 12.
That bottom of the lineup has been very productive in this game.
They don't have a hit, but they've reached base 4 times.
Yeah.
That's all you can ask for. Get on base, set the table for the top of the order. All of the hits have come from the 1 through 5 spot. 1 through 6 to be exact.
So I'm looking down our left. A.J. Malhotra is warming up for Harrison. Now, to also note, C.J. Atanasio has 78 pitches thrown. So I would think he's going to start the inning.
Yes.
He would need a very quick inning to finish this one off if he was going to get the complete game.
Anthony Sacco goes down swinging for out number 1. And you have to think Malhotra is lined up to start that game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Should Harrison hold on here.
So I think if you're also Harrison, you would love to get, even if you can't get the full 3 outs, if Atanasio can get 2 quick outs, and then they bring in Malhotra just to get 1 through 1 batter, hopefully, and that would be crucial for them for tomorrow.
At the plate here, Luca Balbi, but I think more important than the amount of outs you get from Atanasio is keeping Malhotra under 20 pitches, because they obviously, or I should say likely, not that I'm 100% certain, but they likely want to start him tomorrow, if we've observed correctly.
And keep in mind, it could be all a moot point. Massapequa still has 3 outs to play with. If they keep this a 5-run game, they'll need at least 5 to tie the game in the top of the 6th.
Deficits last night weren't quite 5 runs, but if we learned anything yesterday, it is that anything is possible.
Yeah. Game is never over until it's over.
And Luca Balbi has a base hit.
That bottom of the order continues to provide some productive at-bats in this game.
There's a base hit from one of those spots in the lineup. 9 through 12 have now reached 5 times. That's the first hit.
And we've talked about the importance of having a good overall lineup from top to bottom and how it has been crucial for some of these teams as well.
Slow ground ball, throw to second, not in time. Jeffrey O'Connor with an infield hit.
Good running from Balby right there from first to second. Just got in before they got the out.
That was really the only option, throw to second. That ground ball dribbled a little bit. No way he could have gotten him at first.
And O'Connor can thank Balby for his hustle there. He bought him a hit. And now with Malhotra and his spot approaching in the order, he heads back into the dugout.
And once again, the bottom of the order producing now brings us back to the top of the lineup with runners on.
That's chopped on the ground to short. Francesi flips for one, and that's all they'll get.
So they'll have first and third here with 2 outs. And Martinez, who worked the walk his last time to bring home the second run of the game, will now come up here with first and third, trying to get some insurance runs for Harrison here in the spot. And Joe, he's going to bat from the right-handed side.
It seems that our audience and their consensus is that he's a better right-handed hitter based on what we read in the live chat.
Well, if that's any indication for what we saw Wednesday, I mean, it makes sense.
He hit from the right side in the Derby, so I think it's fair to assume he's a better right-handed hitter. Though once he was out of it, he tried to bat left and did hit a home run.
Yep.
And he takes low for ball one.
And if he can get on with a walk, he would load the bases for A.J. Malhotra, who will be the next pitcher in line for Harrison in the next inning.
That pitch is in for a called strike.
It's real dangerous for Massapequa. They've already got a mountain to climb. They can't afford further damage.
That pitch misses inside. Behind Martinez is Malhotra. As I mentioned before, Malhotra was getting warm in the bullpen, made his way back to the dugout, and Martinez very nearly got a hold of one. Just foul.
Yeah, just a little bit under on that one, but had to hold the collective breath if you were a Massapequa fan, saying that one would get hit by Martinez.
Well, that foul goes down as the second strike, so 1 strike away from getting out of the jam.
Pitch on its way. This is high.
Full count now.
Very important pitch right here for Walsh. Needs a strike to keep this a 5-run contest.
Walsh comes set. And the payoff pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3. That's a big strikeout for Jackson Walsh and Massapequa Coast as they keep the deficit at 5, and with 3 outs to play with, they come to bat in a 6-1 ball game.
This tournament would not be possible without the great support of the Staten Island Advance. Not only does the Staten Island Advance have full coverage of the tournament, but we are committed to covering Island youth sports year-round and all news close to home. Pick up the paper today and look for great subscriber deals now for our loyal readership. Visit us online at silive.com for news and photos of this week's tournament and all the breaking news on Staten Island, the nation, and the world. The news of Staten Island is the Staten Island Advance and silive.com.
And we are back from Great Kills, where Massapequa Coast is down to their last 3 outs in search of a rally, and C.J. Atanasio has returned to the mound for Harrison. And for Atanasio, this is his second fantastic outing as a starter this week.
Yeah, now 3 outs away for Harrison is not only that, but 3 outs from getting to the championship game tomorrow. And you mentioned it, another great outing from him as well this week, and he got the save as well in that game yesterday against Auburn. But Aaron, he's just been unhittable in the entire tournament this entire week.
You couldn't have asked for more from a star player like you've gotten from Atanasio. And Massapequa just got to hope they can get him out of this game before they get 2 outs on the board. Give them as much of a chance as they can, even though Malhotra, of course, a strong pitcher as well.
And the good news for Massapequa is that they have the top of the order due up. That should certainly help as they look to mount what would be an epic comeback here in the 6th inning. Ryan Love will look to get it started. He's officially 0 for 1, walked his first time up and struck out in the 3rd. And it's quickly 2-0. You have to think Love takes all the way here. And that misses badly for ball 3.
Well, he's a tired arm, Atanasio. He's just passing 80 pitches. Who knows what he's got left?
And that's right down the middle for a strike.
Well, he still got that fastball at least.
He's been challenging hitters with that pitch up. That's not on the table here. And that pitch isn't close.
Well, if you're Massapequa Coast, that's exactly what you need to start the inning. Get a leadoff walk. Atanasio Oli is now at 83 pitches, so unless this is a one-pitch at bat, this will be his final batter of the day.
Well, if you're Massapequa, you can't ask for any better than that. Not only do you get the leadoff base runner on the walk, but Love didn't have to take the bat off his shoulder. Now Charlie Piricelli, who has struck out twice, takes one that bounces to the backstop, and Love won't even think about it.
Playing it safe. You know, realistically, I think he probably had a good chance had he gone, but you just can't take the risk in this situation.
I'm with you, Aaron. I think he had it if he wanted, but definitely the right play to stay put, no question.
Yeah, you can't afford getting caught on the base path right now and giving Harrison outs. You need to make sure that you just keep safe where you are and you're able to get into scoring position on any hit ball into the outfield.
Piricelli ahead 1-0. And that is to the backstop. And same situation again.
Definitely could have made the case again there.
Yep.
So that was pitch number 85 for Atanasio. He'll now go into a quick windup here instead of his normal stance.
And on 2-0, Piricelli with a swing.
I think you'll now see Atanasio continue that stance for the final at bat of his day.
And the 2-1 is hit well, left center, but it's caught on the warning track by Waits as Piricelli made a bid. Moving up to second is Love, and there's one away.
Yeah, I thought off the bat Piricelli might have had a 2-run homer to dead center, but that's the furthest part of the ballpark, and that was a tough break for him right there, and a great catch out in center field by Welgos.
Hearts in the mouths for a second for Harrison fans is you get scared of what Massapequa can do if they start building momentum, but
Love did advance also from first to second base, so Massapequa does have a runner into scoring position, but as we mentioned, Atanasio is over 85, guys. That is going to be it for him on the day.
So with that, Atanasio will exit. And I believe A.J. Malhotra is going to replace him with a runner in scoring position and one out here in the 6th inning. So we will stay right here through the pitching change as Massapequa Coast has Love in scoring position, due up when we resume action. Labella, Walsh, Vitro. Those three are a combined 2 for 5 in this game. Vitro has reached twice. He has singled and walked. Labella reached on a single. Walsh has hit to a couple of fielder's choice plays.
And I think also for Harrison, you got to give the tip of the cap. How about this outfield here today for them as well? They have made some crucial catches that have saved some runs on the board that could have gotten Massapequa back into this game.
like I mentioned at the beginning of the game, Massapequa, no matter what, they get their bat to the ball. That leaves the task up to the defense. They want to test you and see if you got what it takes, and Harrison has answered every call so far. But this is what championship teams are made of. Massapequa, of course, the defending champs. Do they have it in them? 2 outs, 5 runs to get.
They have the right part of the lineup coming up. As we mentioned, the top of the order got the inning started. And an area in the order that's had some success today. 3-4-5 coming to the plate once Malhotra throws his first official pitch.
And you mentioned, Joe, for Massapequa, if they're able to work Malhotra's count, it's going to be very difficult for him to be able to pitch tomorrow. If you're Harrison, you want to have a low pitch count for Malhotra so that he could potentially start tomorrow's championship game.
Well, you'd love him to get you the final 2 outs in less than 20 pitches. And if you're Massapequa Coast, I think you know that, and that may play into your hands just a bit. Looks like Malhotra's about to wrap up his warm-up, and the hitters gathered around the on-deck area having a word with one another. Labella, who singled his last time, was stranded in scoring position. The big opportunity for Massapequa Coast came with Keen Rimler at the plate, and he very nearly cleared the loaded bases with a base hit down the line. Instead, it went down as a sacrifice fly. And we're set to resume. Joey Labella, the batter, 1 away in the inning, and he fouls the first pitch back. Comes the 0-1. And that skips up on Martinez.
Love holds at second.
It is just so tough to be sure on those. And
can't really get a good read because you don't know how quickly the catcher's going to pick up the ball, and you might get thrown out.
With first base unoccupied, you're not going to take that chance as that's lined straight to well goes to center. And there are 2 gone. But earlier in the inning, there was a chance to move up to second twice. And if you're 100% sure, and your Love, obviously you'd like to get rid of the force play, but it is so tough to be certain that discretion is usually the better play.
And how about Welgos right there? Hard hit ball, but was in the right place at the right time.
And there's another hard hit ball that falls in left field for a base hit. And that will keep Massapequa Coast alive as Jackson Walsh has a 2-out single.
Yeah, Walsh gets on, brings up Chase Vitro as they'll look for a massive 2-out rally here to try to keep their tournament hopes alive.
We're seeing exactly why you don't send the runner on those potential wild pitches, especially when it's the first run of 5 that you need. This run on third base doesn't really matter that much. What you really need is the bombard of hits coming around.
A batter who's reached twice comes to the plate and Chase Vitro, and he chops that foul. And the goal here, get the tying run to the plate, give yourself a chance.
Yeah, key timely hit for Vitro for make it 6-2. Something into the gap, maybe 6-3. Massapequa looking for a huge hit opportunity at this point.
That's fouled off.
And now for Malhotra, 1 strike away, sending Harris into the championship game.
Malhotra attacking. He knows what the assignment is. Get those final 2 outs and keep the pitch count down.
Only thrown 6 pitches so far.
I'm sure his dugout is very pleased with that. Harrison 1 strike away. And that is chopped on the infield. Fair ball. Atanasio steps on first. And with that, Harrison Little League is headed to the 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship as they knock off the defending champs, Massapequa Coast, by a final score of 6-1.
And give your credit to this entire Harrison team, guys. They had a great pitching performance with C.J. Atanasio, going 5 1/3, allowing just the 1 run. And then also what they did overall in the game. Great defense. The bottom of their lineup came through huge. Got a couple of walks, a couple of hits. They also had that huge 6-run inning that got them to the 6-1 lead. But they did a great job overall in this game, especially keeping Massapequa Coast off the board. Just 4 hits in the game and that 1 run.
Want to give credit as well to Atanasio again. Just an incredible performance, dominant pitching from start to finish. But beyond that, really a game that was about mistakes. Harrison benefiting from some mistakes and sloppy play from Massapequa. Meanwhile, Massapequa didn't really get those chances. Harrison played so cleanly, especially on defense. Didn't allow Massapequa any extra bases or extra opportunities. And that, I think, made a really big difference in the end.
And I think the story for Harrison on their way to a berth in the championship is that their pitching was fantastic this week.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing that separated them from the other teams, is they didn't really have that one game that they faltered on the mound this week. The game against Penfield, not great, but not terrible. 6 runs. The other 3 games, all fantastic. Shutout, and then 1 run allowed today. And another team that's pitched well, and really 2 teams that have pitched pretty well so far this week, are facing off in the game coming up next. So we're sure to see some good pitching in our championship game, regardless of who Harrison will face. And for Massapequa Coast, another impressive run. They were 2-0 in pool play to start. The tough game last night, but as we mentioned during the pregame, that game did not have major implications. Unfortunately, the Bats really never recovered from that slow effort yesterday, an effort in which they didn't score late in the game against EGC. They did jump out to the 5-1 lead, but after that, not much at the plate. So Massapequa Coast will see their season end here in the semifinal round. Nonetheless, congratulations to them for making it this far.
Yeah, they put up a great fight in this game and throughout this entire tournament. We talked about what they did on Monday with a 19-hit performance. Although they were out hit in that game on Tuesday, they got some key timely hits. We mentioned the Keen Rimler 3-run homer that gave them the 5-1 lead, and that was the difference maker in that game as well. Obviously, the South Shore game yesterday did not go their way that they had hoped. They went with a different approach in that game as well, hoping that maybe a turnaround would happen today, but just mistakes in the field unfortunately cost them. So they gave up also those extra passes on the base path. We've mentioned all week, guys, that if you give up those walks and hit by pitches, those will come back to bite you. And unfortunately for Massapequa Coast, that's what happened here today. But you mentioned it. Another great showing for them this season after winning the championship last year. They make it back to the semifinals this season. And next season, I'm sure they're going to look to get back to this point and even further and try to win another championship.
Well, Massapequa is a powerhouse. There's no doubt about that, and they were a force to reckon with coming into this tournament. But tournament play is all about momentum, and we did have this round-robin type format to hopefully get the best team out, and not to say we know who the best team is and isn't, but Massapequa started off so strongly and ran into that brick wall of South Shore. And sometimes when you're in a tournament, you need to get things going. A game like that can really throw you off. And coming up against the brick wall of a pitcher like Atanasio with no momentum, I mean, that's a really difficult thing to overcome. And Harrison, we talked about their offense. They were also a little inconsistent, but they didn't really need to generate much of their own offense. Massapequa really gave them offense for them. And when you do that, put yourself behind, can't get the offense going, I mean, what can you do, really? Sometimes things just don't go your way.
And keep in mind also, Massapequa had some very hard-hit balls into the outfield. And that's why I gave a shout-out to this Harrison outfielders, because if not for those plays being made in the outfield, this is a closer game. This very well could be a tie game at the end of the day. Those Harrison outfielders made some big plays when needed it the most, and that's a big reason why they got this 5-run win over Massapequa Coast and now headed to the championship game tomorrow.
You could hear it over our microphones. This is the day to put the ball in the air. The wind is whipping, and if you hit the ball to right field, you're in pretty good shape. But one half of our 2024 New York State Little League Baseball Championship Final has been set. Harrison Little League has punched their ticket to tomorrow's championship game. Coming up next, we find out whether they will be joined by South Shore Little League or Auburn Little League. Be sure to tune in to the PDF Sports Network for pregame coverage beginning at approximately 12:45 p.m. in 1 hour. And thanks for tuning in to Game 1 of our semifinal coverage.